in the bond of holy matrimony.
I can't believe you actually brought that thing to our wedding.
I know, but there's a good reason.
Yo, what is going on, everybody? Today I'm going to be showcasing this insane Ines build for Axion PLAINS and PURGE. Before I get into the build, I just want to say this build was founded by OrneryBiscuit. I will have her video in the description down below. With that being said, let's get right into the video. So starting off with Ines's build, we are going to be focusing on skill cooldown, range, critical hit damage and critical hit rate with some skill power, survivability, and we are going to be using Veteran's Tactics. This is so that we can spam our fourth ability, so make sure that you actually keep Veteran's Tactics on this build. It is very important. So really quickly, I bet you notice we are not using Hunting Hounds in this build. You're probably like, why not? Isn't Hunting Hounds really good with the first ability? Yes, that is true, but the third ability really suffers, especially on Axion PLAINS. It changes her third ability to a leap instead of a kind of like an electric punch. This can leave you very vulnerable, and you can also lunge into boss attacks, which could easily get you killed. The reason why I say this is because we only have 9,000 HP with this build. Also very important that you have HP amplification on this build for that reason. If you take it off for like more damage, just know you're only going to be sitting around 5 to 4k HP, so you're going to be really squishy, especially for Axion PLAINS. For our trigger module, can you guess what we're using? Yep, that's right. Power Beyond. I'm probably going to make a video on why I think the trigger modules are poorly executed and how just Power Beyond is the only beneficial module for most mobbers. But yeah, we are going to be using Power Beyond just for the innate skill power boost that we're going to have while equipping the module and the toe effect from our fourth ability. For the weapon, we are going to be using the Secret Garden. The build does not matter on the weapon. You can use whatever you want, doesn't matter. As long as you have 3 sprint speed cores on your weapon, that is the most important part. Also, I've never really showed the build I was using on the last dagger. This is the build I'm going to be using for it. This is from Sen's Evades. It's his Serena build, but I just use it for everything. Personally, I would go for rounds per magazine over 2 fire rates, so you're not just like constantly having to reload after firing Fiesta runs out. But again, it's really up to you. The element doesn't matter. You can use any element you want, preferably chill if you're going to use this for purge. But yeah, we're also going to be using firearm critical hit damage, fire crit rate, multi-hit chance, and multi-hit damage. For our reactor, we are going to be going with a singular reactor. Make sure that it has cooldown and critical hit damage. This is going to be the most optimal substats. If you're wondering why we're using a singular reactor, it is because we want to do as much damage as possible with our third ability. This is going to allow us to kill the boss a lot faster in Axion PLAINS. If you're wondering, can you use a tech reactor? You can, just know that you will be doing less damage to the boss. For the external components, we are going to be using the Bravery set. This is going to go in tangent with the Veteran's Tactics module, allowing you to actually get your skills back so that you can build up enough custom resource, allowing you to be able to actually use your fourth ability. Pretty much what Bravery set does is whenever you defeat an enemy, you're going to get a 1-second cooldown reduction on any skill that you've killed the enemy with. So let's say it's your first or second ability, you're going to get that back really quickly and then build the custom resource and then use your ultimate. That is why they work so well together. This is going to be the Arche tree. For the mutant cell, we are going to be using electric condense. If you are going to go and purge with this build, I do highly recommend that you use electric vulnerability, so then you have the skill power when you fight the boss. For the inversion reinforcement perks, we are going to be using electric focus rounds, selective neurostimulation, and Arche circulation tactics. Electric focus rounds is going to give us more electric skill power. Selective neurostimulation is going to give us more MP whenever we're near enemies by a set chance, and then Arche circulation tactics is going to give us more cooldown. For the fellow, we are going to be using the Hagios dog. The reason why we're using the Hagios dog is because we're going to get back 25% of our max HP every 40 seconds, especially for this build because you are extremely squishy. Alright, really quickly, I wanted to go over the gameplay loop. It's actually quite simple. First, you're going to want to actually build up your custom resource by using your first and second ability. Once you see that your custom resource is full, you're going to want to spam your fourth ability. This is going to send out a ring that is going to pulse and do electric damage continuously. This is going to be the ability that's going to kill the most amount of mobs, so make sure you are using your fourth ability. While you're done spamming your fourth ability, you're just going to recycle your first and second ability, build up out the custom resource and then spam the 4th ability again. Every time you do kill something with your 4th ability, it will probably reset due to Veteran's Tactics. I say probably because it's only a 19% chance, but most of the time it usually will reset because you're killing a bunch of enemies, if Veteran Tactics works correctly. For the boss, you're mainly going to want to use your 3rd ability to do a chunk of damage, and whenever it has its armor plate, just use your weapon to break it. Once you break the armor plate, then you're able to use your 3rd ability again. If you have gone this far into the video, that's going to be everything you're going to need to use Ines in Axion Plains. But yeah, if you want to leave the video here, go right ahead. I'm just going to give my thoughts about Ines, and honestly, like, it's going to be really short anyways.
Every day, more lies.
Ines, what can I say? It's Ines, one of the best mobbers in the game, can clear rooms with just the 4th ability alone. She is insane. She did get a nerf, but honestly the nerf didn't really nerf her. It was more of a, I don't know how to say it, it just wasn't a good nerf. In fact, it made her feel a lot worse. They made it to where she can no longer hit through walls, which I guess, yeah, that makes sense. Her 3rd ability can still hit through walls, which is funny, but she has to be in line of sight, which makes it really annoying to use her 1st ability, especially when it's a environment with a lot of walls. So there's that. Honestly, she feels fine in Axion Plains because everything's open and, you know, it's really easy to get line of sight. So there's that. Honestly, Ines is just like a nuker in Warframe, you know? It's not really that unhealthy for the game because, you know, not everyone's going to be balanced. There are going to be Descendants that are going to just outshine other Descendants, unless you're Serena, but we can talk about Serena later. But what I'm trying to say is, she's really good at what she does. She's good at mobbing. She's not good for bossing. You're not seeing Ines, like, I don't know, kill Wall Crasher in 2 seconds or anything like that, or even for that instance, Death Stalker in 2 seconds. She's just really good at mobbing. Which is fine. Honestly, that's totally fine. Again, it's just like in Warframe. You had Banshee back in the day when she was like really insane. Now Banshee's just forgotten. She's not even that great anymore. Same thing can easily be said with Ines. Once they add more Descendants, she can easily be outclassed just because of the new Descendants that come out. However, it would be really nice to see some changes for the Descendants that are not doing so great. That's why I'm really on the side of buffing instead of nerfing. The only person I would really nerf is Serena. She can literally do everything. Like, when I say everything, she can literally do everything with ease. So that is what I consider unhealthy for the game. If you specialize in one thing, that's fine. But when you specialize in every category and it's like no point to use anyone else other than that character, that's when it becomes unhealthy. So that's all I gotta say. Ines, you're fine. Don't nerf Ines, nerf Serena. Alright, but jokes aside though, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace.